Look, if you're going to drink and drive, instead...
Wait a minute.
It's a bad idea. Don't do it.
Rupert Everett had an interview with BBC, and, we did a story about how Richard Chamberlain talked about how terrible Hollywood is toward gay actors. Well, Rupert Everett feels exactly the same way. During the interview, he talked about how he feels like he was discriminated against after he came out. So I want to read you some of his quotes that I thought were fascinating. He said, "I never got a job there," referring to Hollywood, "and I never got a job here after coming out. I did a couple films. I was very lucky at the beginning of my career, and then I never had a job here for 10 years, probably, and I moved to Europe." He continues to say, "I think show business is ideally suited for heterosexuals. It's a very heterosexual business. It's run mostly by heterosexual men, and there's a kind of pecking order. I think the position of women is pretty difficult one in the show business. If you look at the idea of a drunk woman in show business on the skids at the age of 50 and a drunken man in show business on the skids, the drunken man gets an awful amount of support and the woman is a slut." So that's what he had to say about gays and women in Hollywood. So it's pretty harsh.
I'm amused about how he threw the 50-year-old women under the bus.
Yeah.
But he's going to throw somebody else under the bus in a second, too. But
Yeah.
you know what? Look, the Rupert Everett case is just anecdotal because you never know. Maybe he wasn't pleasant to work with. It could be 100 different things. But it's not a good anecdote, man. He came out and it was a brave and strong thing to do. And then they stopped giving him roles for straight guys.
Right.
And it's terrible.
And, as I mentioned before, Everett isn't the only person who came out with these type of accusations. We did the story on Richard Chamberlain. He felt the same way. There were other actors who we talked about a couple months ago. I don't remember which actor it was, Cenk, but he talked about how, you don't even see gay actors getting gay roles. Like in Brokeback Mountain, you had 2 straight actors playing gay roles. So I think that these are, interesting accusations, and I think that there might be some credibility behind it. Anyway, he then goes on to talk about Jennifer Aniston, which I think is completely random, but funny at the same time. So I'm going to read you his quote about her. He says, "Like Jennifer Aniston, we'll just have one too many total flops, but she's still a member of that club, and she will still manage to, like a star forming in the universe, a whole lot of things swirling around and suddenly solidifying into yet another vital, tasteless rom-com. A little glitter next to the Crab Nebula." Damn. I'm not even sure what he's talking about, but damn.
Yeah, I was going to say, he lost me at the Crab Nebula. But I figured out rom-com, which I feel good about. Romantic comedy. I'm calling them rom-coms from now on.
Clever.
That's what the hip gay guys do. Oh, look, you see that? I stereotyped him again. This is what's wrong with Hollywood.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Look, he's not alone, though. Everybody throws Jennifer Aniston under the bus. There's all these different theories on why Aniston continues to get these huge roles when a lot of her movies have been flops. So he's just piling on.
Anna, you know what's a disastrous idea?
Drinking and driving?
Bingo. How'd you know?
What?
Look, there's a number of reasons why, right? Obviously. Number one, if you get arrested, disaster on top of disaster.
If you do get caught drunk driving, it'll cost you thousands of dollars.
But put all that aside, what's much more important is if you wind up hurting somebody, you're never going to forgive yourself. That's the worst possible thing you could do. And you think like, oh, if I take a cab, it costs a lot of money. I know, believe me, you know me, I'm cheap, right? Mm-hmm. But I always think like, what if something went wrong? And my whole life I'd be thinking, why didn't I just take the cab? You don't have to go to any website, and you don't have to enter a TYT promo code.
Just do not get behind the wheel after you've been drinking.
Happy holidays.